Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Let me just move that back a little bit because you're seeing way too much of Bazza. Now everything's falling to bits. There we go. Let's turn that round a touch. Yes, welcome back to another beer review. In this one, we are heading off back to Chester, and we are going to Chester's Chester Beer Company, if you like. I've been calling it Chester Beer Company, and we've got a bottle of their Watergate Porter. It's a premium craft porter. It says it's in a 500ml bottle and it's coming in at 4.5%. And I got this direct, not direct from the brewery as such, but pretty much from the owner. It was £4 it worked out as, so not cheap really, but it depends on how good it is. I had a bit of an issue with these, to be honest, so I'm almost just being kind by reviewing it, just the fact that how much it cost. The hops in this are Challenger and Bramling Cross. It's unfiltered, unpasteurised, naturally carbonated. Now on here it's saying expect smooth dark ruby porter, brewed to create spiced aroma, rich chocolate flavours and an ultra smooth body. That's their typical label. It just comes in different colours. We got the plain black bottle cap. So, and the date on it is 20th of the 10th, 23. That's the best before date. Now, I don't have a Chester Beer Company glass. I don't suppose they do them. But I feel like going back to my old Snowden craft beer glass because I do like that. So, let's get it cracked open and see what we get. It's been out the fridge all day, so it's going to be pretty much sort of room temperature. What do I think of Chester Beer Company? Like I said, had some issues. Yes, no, and this, that and the other. But yeah, there's been some good stuff in there. The ones I've done, there was one good and one dodgy one totally knackered beer, which never looked, clearly they weren't bothered about replacing or anything, or sorry about it. And then I've done six. This is me six. I've done five. Can't remember anyway, but they've been pretty okay generally, but I think hit and miss, shall we say, to be the kindest. Anyway, we're looking at their Watergate Porter, beer in a glass. It's looking, I mean, what does it say on the bottle? Dark ruby. It's a very dark, I mean, I can't see too much in here. I mean, if it is dark ruby, it's a very dark ruby, but it's nice and dark. We've got a finger of tan head on top. I can't see any bubbles going up, but I'm sure there is some. The bottle is empty. Let's stop waffling on. Try and give it a bit of a swirl and see what we get on the nose. It does smell very good, to be fair. There is a spicy note. That was a spicy, it says a spicy aroma on the thing, and that spicy note was a split second ahead of that rich chocolate. There's massive chocolate in there. There is a spicy note. I mean, I could pluck at dark fruits, but maybe I'm just telling myself that because ultimately the biggest thing is spicy and chocolate. Smells great. So let's dive in on Chester Beer Company's Watergate Porter, 4.5%. Cheers, everyone. Okay, porter's lighter than stouts. I say this every time. It's 4.5% as well. It does feel a tad light for me. It does feel a tad light. It's extremely smooth. It's got to be said. But there is virtually no carbonation in there. It's in there in the background, but you don't really feel it. It almost feels a little bit flat, if I'm honest. But very smooth. It's got a lovely mouthfeel, it's got to be said, and it is nice and soft. On the taste, the spice aroma you do get a smidgen of it in the taste. The chocolate for me has almost gone. If it's there, it's almost like a milk chocolate, I thought, on the nose. But if there is anything there in chocolate, it's maybe a dark chocolate, and I think that's coming through with the roasted malts and the sort of coffee notes, if anything. I mean, there's almost, I don't know, because it's so smooth, it almost gives the impression of a creamy sort of beer, but it's not creamy because it is quite sort of lifeless, and even sort of, you know, doing that to the beer, it's not really creating much. So I'm not going to say it's a creamy body, or it has a creaminess to it, because that'd be wrong, I think. 4.5%, you don't get that. For me, the craft side of this beer is all on the nose. Otherwise, it just feels like a standard porter that you can pick up anywhere. And I'll pay £4 for this. This was a £4 beer. I really don't want to sit here and slate them because they're only a small brewery, but ultimately I'm a consumer. I've bought the beer, so I'm entitled to say what the hell I like about a beer. Yes, spiced aroma, rich chocolate flavours, maybe a bit of dark chocolate in there with that roasted malt and coffee. Yes, the body is super smooth. That's because it's almost as flat as a witch's tit, if I'm totally honest. But, you know, overpriced at £4. Well overpriced. What's the beer like anyway? A little bit standard. Even maybe a little bit boring. This is a disappointing one, really. It's disappointing. Not enough going on in that beer for £4 for me. So, Chester Beer Company, or Chester's Chester Beer Company, Watergate Porter. A bit of a letdown, to be honest. Massively overpriced. Would I recommend it? I'm going to leave that down to the individual. I've had much better porters myself, so I'd feel a little bit guilty if I said go out and buy it, it's £4, blah blah blah. But if you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon on another beer review. Cheers.